tryna be like nobody else. No, I ain't tryna be like nobody else. No, I ain't tryna be like nobody else. Cause I'm having too much fun tryna be myself. No, I'm not the type of chick that like to follow trends. I got a small circle, no, don't need a lot of friends. You know I gotta get this money cause I like to spend. I see you haters watching, so I just give you a grin.
Hey, what's up, you guys? It's your girl Lamdam coming through with another K content video. I appreciate everybody that's supporting my videos. I don't care 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, doesn't matter. Anybody that's watching and supporting me, I really appreciate it. Please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave a comment if you like. I'm gonna put my number on this video later on in the video, so you guys have a chance to text if you guys have anything that you want me to discuss or that you want to talk about or get my perspective on. Moving on from that, I'm doing this video to cover myself anywhere in the future, because I'm starting to get the gist of like what people are talking about with the whole situation with like mad day, they call it, like when people get upset with you when you guys are not friends anymore, then they start like making little threats like, oh, don't make me have to expose you, or don't make me have to do this. It's like, whoa, I don't even play those types of games. Like, as soon as you start talking like that, it's like, okay, now it's time for me to just like put everything out on the table. Okay, so anybody who does know me, a lot of people that watch my videos know me personally, so everybody knows, or some people know, that I was previously pregnant 9 years ago. Actually, I have a daughter. Her name is Leah Noel. This is her name on my wrist. I had her when I was in the military. I lost custody of her. Honestly, it had nothing to do with me being an unfit parent like everyone tries to call me, but you know, when you see something on paper or you just hear that you lost custody, people just automatically are just like, okay, what did she do? Was she abusive? Now, honestly, I was an unfit person at the time. Now, let me be clear. It wasn't about me being a mom or a friend or anything. I was just unfit at the time. I was dealing with postpartum really badly. I was dealing with alcoholism at the time. Like, it was my first time away from home. I was married at the time. I felt trapped when I was in the military, like literally trapped. So I was just kind of having like an out of body experience. I was like just acting out, you know, basically throwing an adult tantrum, just finding different ways, doing anything that I can to get out. And December 15th, 2012 was the day that my daughter was taken from me. I was driving on the road and I was actually pulled over. I was following a friend. I was pulled over. I lost direction. I was about to put it in GPS. And I looked up and there was a cop car when I was in my rear view. I was thinking that I was going to be cool, but you know, he smelled the liquor. And honestly, I was pretty tore down. I'm not going to sit here and try to sugarcoat it and make it seem like I wasn't. Like, I remember bits and pieces of that night. So that's how I know that I used to drink heavily, because it's like I felt normal, like, you know, at the time when I was driving. Like, I was tore though, like I think I was day drinking. I was drinking all day long at that point. Now, before I even get into that story, because that's gonna be short and quick, I've never harmed my daughter. She's never starved. Nothing's ever been wrong with her physically, mentally. She has no development issues. There's nothing wrong with my child. Okay, I want to make that clear to everybody. That's the first thing. The second thing is, I have no excuse. I can tell you about the postpartum, the personality disorder that I was diagnosed with in the process of me trying to get my child back. I can tell you about all of the mental stuff that I was dealing with, and the alcoholism as well on top of that. None of that matters, because I don't want to come off like I'm trying to make excuses for my behavior or my actions. I did it. I lived through it, and before anybody tries to judge me, just try to walk in my shoes. Obviously, if you have had a child or been pregnant or whatever the case may be, and you have that attachment to the child, and then the child is then snatched from you, that's something that sticks with you your entire life if you didn't willingly give the child up or do whatever, get an abortion, whatever the case may be. So I just want that to be clear, that it's not like, oh, I don't care. And I have a son now who is 10 months and 3 days. And I just feel like the Heavenly Father saw fit to give me another chance. I don't have any excuses. Like I said, I made a mistake. I've forgiven myself, but it seems like it's everyone else that knows me, or like even family members that have like thrown that in my face during an argument. Oh, that's why you lost your daughter. That's why you this. It's like, that's why I lost my daughter. Like, who says that to somebody? And then people wonder why my mouth is as slick as it is. If you're going to say things like that to me, I'm going to hit below the belt too. It goes both ways. I treat people exactly the way that they treat me. That's it. That's all. Oh, she's a bitch. She's mean. Maybe you're a bitch and you're mean. Did you ever try to think of that? I don't feel like I can ever be called a troublemaker because I don't start trouble. First of all, I keep a lot of things to myself. I'm always trying to be the bigger person and talk through situations, so I definitely don't see myself as a troublemaker. So yeah, if you sitting there trying to grind me up, you say something, I'm going to say something back to you. Now, one thing I can say is there's times where somebody might just say something like, I don't like your shirt. And I might just be having a bad day, and I might say, well, I don't like that you don't know who your baby father is. One of those statements is like, you know, I guess about right here, but what I said was all the way down here, like I hit low. And it's like, did I take it too far if that was my response to that, like if that was my response to that statement? Definitely. And I can say that and know that I need assistance with that. Like, you know, I'm a work in progress. Like, I'm going to still, my mouth is always not necessarily got me in trouble, but my mouth has always been an issue. I'll say that. And I'm not going to say I don't care, but I'm going to tell you why I don't give a fuck. Because there's a difference. I tell y'all that all the time. Not caring and not giving a fuck to me are two totally different things. I explained that on one of my videos. I'm not explaining that again. If you don't know what it was, you need to go to the other video and go ahead and get you some learning on. Okay, now back to what I was saying, okay? So I don't start trouble. I just feel like I treat people the way that I want to be treated. And I'm not trying to sit here and judge anyone. Like, I don't judge people because I know I've done a lot in my life. So it's like, I'm not in a position to judge anyone. But at the same time, I don't feel like because you've gone through something like that, you can't speak on somebody being a bad parent. It's like, that's not fair. That means that you're basically saying that person doesn't have the right to change, or that person doesn't have the right to grow, and because they've been through this, they can't speak on that. I can speak on whatever the fuck I want to speak on, okay? That's first and foremost. First and foremost. Freedom of speech, everybody. Let's get to the fucking rights. Like, I mean, they taking them away, but, you know, sometimes we got freedom of speech. That's real shit. I just feel like I want to put my story out there before anybody gets a chance to try to grind me up and say this, that, and the third. I got out of the military in 2013. As I told you, my daughter's custody was taken from me in 2012, and I didn't leave California until 2015. So I stayed out in California 2 years after I got out of the military, 3 years after my daughter was taken from me. Those 3 years, the whole time, all I spent doing was trying to get custody back of my daughter. I was financially running through bad resources because, you know, I was dealing with them slowly processing me out of the military, so they were cutting my pay. I was on restriction. I was limited to the places that I could go. But I always made every visit. I went to all of the parenting classes that I was able to make it to. I did not finish parenting classes once I realized that I wasn't going to be able to get my child back because she was taken from my custody. They wanted to give her to her father at the time, who was my husband at the time. I said her father at the time. He's always going to be her father, but my husband at the time, they wanted to give it to her, but he also was not, you know, keeping it real, doing his part as far as like going to all of the stuff that he was supposed to be going to, because, you know, it was hitting him hard. He was going through a lot. So I'm a very understanding person. I don't blame him for anything. I've always taken full responsibility. Everything is my fault. It couldn't have been on him. He wasn't even here when she got taken from me. So, but however, he did have the power to get her back, and I felt like he didn't do everything in his power that he could too. But at the same time, that situation of him having to get her back wouldn't even exist if it wasn't for me. So I take full responsibility in that. It is what it is. I don't want people trying to have that to throw in my face and say this, that, and the third. Like, I don't have time for none of that. So I wanted to get that story out first. That's one of the stories I wanted to get out. Okay, all of these things that I'm getting ready to tell y'all is the reason why I don't give a fuck, and I'm going to continue to say what the fuck I want to say. And anybody that doesn't like it, you're going to continue to be blocked. I'm going to continue to exit you out of my life, and that's just going to be it. What people don't realize is I truly believe in KCSC. I'm always going to keep the same energy. Like, if I don't fuck with you, I'm just not gonna fuck with you. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, all right, well, I don't fuck with her, but tomorrow I'm gonna fuck with you. No, I'm not gonna say you gotta come groveling, but yeah, conversations need to be had. Things need to be discussed. We need to come to some type of agreement, consensus. Something needs to happen before I'm just like, oh, fucking with you again. And even then, I'm always going to remember why we stopped fucking with each other. So it's like, it's never really going to be gone. So for me, I hate that I always go back to like old friends or even old boyfriends, but that's just a familiar thing for me. I'm getting past that, okay? I'm just so frustrated because I just get so sick and tired of people feeling like they can really try to hold something over your head. Bitch, nobody will ever be able to hold anything over my head. Like, I'm not built like that. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I gotta say that a few times because, like, I don't think people understand that I don't give a fuck. You can feel however you want to feel, just like you feel how you feel. Why do people, I said this in my last video, people get so mad about your feelings about something? I don't have to fucking feel how you fucking feel, okay, people? I'm sorry. My emotions are on my sleeve. I'm an emotional person. If you're going to be in my circle or in my space, you're going to have to deal with that. And if you can't, I don't give a fuck. Bye-bye. I'm been ready to move on with my life from every fucking body. It's people in my family that I don't even talk to. Motherfuckers think I give a fuck about not talking to them. And certain people gonna watch this video and think immediately that I'm talking to them directly. So let me be clear. I'm talking to anybody that this applies to. So now nobody got worried about, oh, this is a personal shot. No, this is for anybody that this applies to. That's it. If you feeling it, like you feeling this way about somebody else in your life, then it's for you. Like, I'm just expressing what's going on in my life, how I'm feeling, what I'm doing. That's it. Now, back to the situation with my daughter. So I'm spending that whole 3 years trying to get her back, going to parenting classes. But like I said, they didn't want to give her back to me because she was taken from me. So even though I was doing everything that was being asked of me, it didn't matter. I didn't have money for a lawyer, so I was getting public defenders every time we went to court. Every lawyer that they gave me knew less about the case than the previous lawyer, and it was just a losing battle. I don't feel like the war is over, but it's definitely a battle that I've lost, and it's something that carries over with me, and it's something that I always think about. Always. Every single day. Now, I'm going to move on from that, and I'm going to talk about other reasons why I don't give a fuck about what people say or how they feel about me and why my energy is the way that it is, okay? I'm not a negative person at all. Do I always have, like, a lot going on? Definitely. Like, I do have a lot going on. I have a very, very wild and crazy life. Some of the things are self-inflicted. Some things are things that I just have no control over. It's just the universe. I have no control over certain things. Now, I've been raped before when I was 14. I was molested when I was 7. That lasted for a little while. I had someone force themselves on me when I forget the age. I feel like I want to say I was 26, 27, 28, around there. I'm not gonna lie, some things, like, I've had so many traumatic experiences, sometimes they all run together, so I kind of forget, like, the years or the time. I just might know, like, an around approximation time type of situation. So yeah, I think I was around 26, 27, 28-ish when that happened. Yeah, so I've had some sexual trauma. I definitely feels like now that I'm an adult, that makes me a little juvenile when it comes to sex. Like, I can't talk about sex with people, well, men. I can talk about it with my friends, but I can't talk about it, like, with a man without, like, getting all silly and goofy and dorky and dumb. But I can say whatever via text, but when it comes to actually being face-to-face, like, I think that I'm still juvenile because I was exposed to sex at such a young age, you know what I'm saying? So I do feel that has affected me in that way. Now, those are some other traumas that I've been through. Now, I lived in my car during this whole situation, well, not the whole situation, right after I got out of the military, brig, and got out of the military. I was living in my car for about 8 months. I'm not ashamed of any of these things that I'm telling you because I'm telling you for a reason. nobody's gonna tell you my story. I'm not gonna let anybody tell my story. And that's for anybody out there. Like, if you got some shit, I'm not saying that you gotta share all your business, but if you feel like it's information that's floating around that could get out there about you, and it could ever be a situation where somebody's trying to use that to make you do a certain thing, don't ever let a motherfucker do that shit. Ever. Like, I'm sorry, I'm just not gonna let nobody do that shit to me. So you hearing it from straight from the horse's mouth. Anybody who know me personally, I'm not known for lying. I'm known for a lot of things, but lying is definitely not one of them. I had a friend come to me, like, when I was like telling them about the rape one time. They gonna say, when you was raped, like I was lying about it. And it's just like, how dare somebody question me about my experiences? Like, that's just real crazy. Like, it's crazy. And what's crazy about the whole being raped when I was 14, the crazy thing about that is I had wrote that in my diary, and a sibling of mine had got a hold of it, and they read that. Imagine though, like, lying, putting lies in your diary, something that you're not expecting nobody to see. Something that's for your eyes only. Imagine putting a lie in there. If you do something like that, then you are crazy. Sincerely. It just, stuff be like super, super weird to me. Like, people be mad weird. Like, so that's a few other things. But back to this living in my car. That traumatized me a lot. Like, you know, I have a lot of trauma from that. I have trauma from that. I have trauma from losing my daughter. I have trauma from working 2 full-time jobs and literally being up for basically 24 hours. For weeks. It's back and forth to work. Leave one job, going straight to the other job. Leaving that job, going straight to the other job. Leaving that job, going straight to the other job. Like, I did that for a while. All of this is while I was in California in the process of trying to get custody back of my daughter. I'm not saying all of that because I want any credit. It was all my fault. So I should have did everything that I should have done. But I'm saying that to say that I obviously made a mistake. Like, I was an alkie at the time. Like, I was going through every fucking thing. Like, I couldn't tell you what I was mentally going through. Then you got them telling me, oh, from some assessment that I have a personality disorder. Like, you know, they telling me all kinds of shit out there. And I'm just like, no. What I have is a disorder with dealing with bullshit. That's what I have. Like, I get very, very irritated, and I go off when I feel like somebody's trying to pull the wool over my eyes, or if I feel like somebody's trying to tell me some shit that I know is fucking wrong or don't make no motherfucking sense. It's like, what? Like, huh? What are we talking about? Just so like, I hate that I even had to come to y'all and do this video, but with the day that I had today, and like, I was watching a couple of things on TV, I'm not even gonna lie to you, and like, it just really made me sit here and think, like, I never know where I'm gonna find myself in the future. You know what I'm saying? So because of that, I need everything out there that anybody could ever try to throw back in my face, or, you know, try to, and no, people can say, oh, it's no one's business. People out there have seen me post pictures of my daughter. Nobody's going to be bold enough to ask me anything, because I hope motherfuckers know better. You understand what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's not something that I'm not able to talk about, or that I can't talk about. Like, you know, I've grown a lot since then. My daughter is 9. This happened in 2012. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, some things have changed. Nothing's going to change about me missing my child, loving my child, and just hoping that I can do better for my son that I have, that God allowed me to have a second chance with. That's all I can do. I can't dwell on what I've been through, and because honestly, you can end up, when you sit there and sit in that stupidity of things, you'll sit there and make yourself crazy, number one, or you'll be stuck in a rut. You won't be able to move or do anything, and you'll use that as a crutch to not do anything. I've done it. I've been through it. Okay, so don't let your bad situations that you've been through, you know, define who you are. Don't let that shit have people making them, have you feeling like people can, you know, talk to you any old kind of way, or you gotta sit back and take it because you did this and they're like, no, motherfuckers. Everybody has a glass house. And you know why that is? Because nobody's fucking perfect. So nobody can really throw stones. I'm only going to throw a stone at you if you throw a stone at me. You throw another one at me, I'm going to throw another one at you. And we just going to be throwing some rocks at each other. That's just how that go. I don't want to keep being like that, though. Like, being combative constantly all the time. Like, whether I know how to talk to people or not, even when I do know how to talk to people, it really doesn't matter. I've learned that if things are going to happen, they're going to happen no matter what. You can't change them. Things are predestinated. I ain't gonna lie, that water was everything. I got a little bit of Hennessy right here that I'm sipping on. I got the rest in there. I'm actually rolling up some weed right here on the counter. Listen, okay, it's a late night and I can't sleep, and I really can't sleep if I don't smoke. I'm not gonna lie, like, I will have insomnia. Like, I remember one time I didn't smoke for like 3 days, and I think I was up for like 3 days. Alright, so I told y'all about me staying in my car, being molested, being brave. I told y'all about me losing custody of my daughter. What else do I need to hit on? What else do I need to hit on? Oh my God. I used to talk to this guy, and I'm not gonna lie, we still chat here and there. And I honestly had high hopes for us. I thought that he was my quote-unquote happy ending. Well, that nigga had me strung out. Like, once we stopped talking to each other, it felt like a death. Like a real death. And I just felt stupid because, like, I was telling all my friends, my family, like, basically, like, he was the one. Like, you know, he was getting at the... Okay, let me hit on the fact that, okay, everybody, I have talked to someone that was married at the time when I was dealing with him. I'm not going to make any excuses, but I still got the right to say that he did file for a divorce, and that divorce has been final for at least a year or two now. So it wasn't like he was one of those people that was like bullshitting, like, oh, I'm divorcing my wife and never getting a divorce. No, he was divorcing his wife. They was living in separate places, like separate states, excuse me. And they were just co-parenting, and then the divorce got finalized, and, you know, we were still dealing with each other, and then we weren't dealing with each other. The reason I'm bringing him up is because, like I said, a lot of people, like, that I talked, that was in my circle, I've talked about him to them, and they knew kind of like he was somebody that I thought was going to be the one, like the person that I was going to marry, you know, my second marriage. I thought he was going to be it. So when that didn't work out, and I kind of had all my eggs in that basket, it sunk me into real depression. If you don't get nothing else from this video besides see on me, I want you to get the message of mental health being a real thing. Like, people be talking about it now, like, yeah, mental health, because, like, you know, sometimes people look at it as like a trend, just like Black Lives Matter. Like, people like to start talking about stuff when other people are talking about it because it's the trend for right now, which is like something that's still, it's always going to bother me, that's always going to bother me. But mental health is a real thing, like anxiety, depression, bipolar disorder, personality disorder, anything that you're going through, postpartum, like, all of those are real things. Like, you can't just be out here just popping pills, trying to sleep, to keep thoughts out of your head. Like, you need to go get a real assessment. You need to go to therapy. Like, I'm talking to myself as well, like, myself included. I need to go to therapy as well. Like, I think therapy is a good thing. You know, a lot of Black people do say, like, oh, therapy is for white people. Oh, I go to church, or I go to Jesus. It's nice to have a spiritual person to talk to, but it's not more nice, but it's also nice to have someone that can respond to you right away, meaning like someone, like a human, like a therapist that you can have a conversation with back and forth, you know, because that's all therapy is a conversation about your feelings, what led you to this point, how can you avoid getting to this point again, and so on and so forth. I swear sometimes I think I could have been a therapist because I know all my problems and I know why they're my problems, like, you know, what caused them. I just don't know how to stop making them my problems. Oh my goodness, yo. I play entirely too damn much, yo. Yeah, I think I hit on pretty much everything. How that nigga had me fucking slumped. Am I feeling salty? I was salty as shit. Like, I don't think I've ever been that salty in my life. I think that was the most salty I've ever been. The most played I ever felt. I just really... I was going through it, like, and like I said, I'm telling the story about him because, like I said, I've mentioned him to a lot of people. Like, everybody that I've ever, like, been really close with knows about him, knows who he is, and knows how I felt about him. And, like, it's just so crazy how he played the shot at me. And it's, like, to have to come back to, like, my circle of friends and kind of tell them, like, how I was played, it was just, it was a humbling experience, to say the least. Shoot, living in my car was a humbling experience. Like, and then that's another thing. Like, I had, like, while I was actually living in my car, like, I had one of my sisters making a joke about that, and I felt like, I don't, like, I'll laugh about it now. Shoot, it's funny now, but definitely when it was happening, I didn't see anything funny about it. And it's kind of like, that's the reason why I'm so closed off. I'm the youngest in my family, and I think that that's also why my mouth is so crazy, because I do feel like I was always picked on a lot in my house, and outside of my house too. You know, being bullied a lot. I was bullied a lot coming up when I was young. So it's like, I think that now that I'm older and I don't have to deal with being bullied, it's just like my mouth is just reckless. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, okay, all right, okay, bitch. That's not cool though. Like, you know, I'm gonna get better with my mouth. I am, like, you know, you gotta call those things that aren't as though they were. Like, I'm gonna get better with my mouth. But I will, whether I have a terrible mouth or a nasty attitude or a bad delivery, it doesn't matter. You're never gonna find a better friend, a better person, somebody that's more loyal, or anybody that's gonna be there for you more than me. Like, the boy, the man I mentioned that, you know, had forced himself on me, I've still spoken to him again after that happened, and, like, chopped it up, like, you know what I'm saying, like, smoked, like, you know, that's a flaw of mine, though. Like, I don't know how to forgive people but still leave them over there. It's like, when I feel like I forgive somebody, it's like, okay, well, then I guess we could be back cool, because, like, why not? We not mad at each other no more. But it's like, I'm just now getting to that point where I realize everybody just doesn't need to be in your life. You could forgive, but forget them. Just forget them. I'm just now learning that. So anybody who else is struggling with that, just do what I just said. Just forget them. You don't got to let these toxic people in your life. And that's another situation that happens when you're going through traumatic experiences. You know, you don't even know your left from your right from your left sometimes. You just like, oh, I don't know. Like, if you watch SVU or you watch any of those types of shows, like, there's so many different ways to react to trauma, especially sexual trauma, because, like, people either become promiscuous or sometimes they become Mormons, or nuns, like, they don't want to have sex at all. And sometimes people think that it's okay to be cool with their abuser. Like, they'll feel like it's familiar, if that makes sense. So they just are just reacting to the trauma, you know. So I just want everybody out there to stop judging people, stop trying to throw stuff up in people's faces, especially if it's something that you know is going to hurt their feelings. I'm guilty of doing that myself, so I'm taught, like I said, anything I'm telling you, I'm trying to apply it to myself as well. I'm not trying to just tell you this and then be still over here like, no, but that's not me. I keep telling you all, I'm too real. I'm too authentic. When you hear me telling a story, it's always going to be the same story. You know why? Because the truth never changes. I don't have to sit here and keep telling you different stories over and over and changing up what's going on or what happened. Like, it's the truth. So the story is going to always be the same. And I ain't doing no name dropping about, like, nobody, like I said, because this is to anybody that this applies to. I ain't saying nobody in my family's name. I have a big family, so, like, I have several siblings, several sisters, few brothers, like, you know. So it doesn't even matter. The people, they know who they are. And I'm just going to leave it at that when it comes to that. Anything else that's going on, I'm definitely going to do another video. I was going to talk a little bit about some stuff that was in media, but I ain't really trying to hit on none of that. I just wanted to get this out real quick because something just hit me today and inspired me to just make sure I get this done, because I do feel like people feel like they have something over my head. Like, oh, yeah, you lost custody of your daughter. Oh, you a bad mom. You unfit. This shit that people say to me, this be coming from the same motherfuckers that don't take care of their own fucking kids. Same motherfuckers that put their kids off on other people. Same motherfuckers that get abortion. Same motherfuckers that was probably getting ready to be in the process of losing their own kids or have lost custody of some of their kids. It's just like, so when people be coming at me, the first thing I do is look at what I can come at you about, and 9 times out of 10 it be a bunch of shit. So it be fucking me up how you be sitting here trying to grind me up or anybody else up, and you got too many things that somebody can come at you about. You gotta clean your house up. Like I said, this applies to me too. But I'm just trying to make that shit clear to y'all. I'm tired of this shit. I'm tired of the shit. Jesus, I didn't even get a chance to roll in my blunt. Sitting here with all the fucking weed, just chilling. But it's cool. I ain't gonna roll the blunt on camera, even though I do in other videos, but I ain't feeling it right now, okay? So make sure you like, subscribe, share. I just wanted to share a little bit of my life. Like I said, probably somewhere in the future, I'll be writing a book which will have details of every big event that's happened in my life. But I just wanted to get this out for anybody that's afraid to speak about something that they've been through, afraid of being judged. I'm definitely not one of those people. I'm ready for all of the kickback that I'm going to receive, if I receive any. And it is what it is. I'll see y'all in the next video, and make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Have a good night.